so that you can be notified when my wrap-up video comes out at the end of the month, and you can hear what I thought about each of them. Every once in a while, I scour Google for good self-development books to read. I've mentioned before, it can be quite difficult to find good ones. On this occasion, I found this book and I just could not resist. It is called The Little Frog's Guide to Self-Care. It's almost definitely cheating because I'm going to finish this in like a minute or like 30 minutes tops. But, you know, every little helps, you know, to get me close to my target of 70 books. And this counts. But when I say it's a cheat, I mean that is. Although, you know, there are some that are like a bit more text heavy. I'll read you the blurb so we can learn all about Sassy Frog together. Meet your new best friend, the little frog. Whether you need an emotional boost, some friendly encouragement, or an honest view on the world, this adorable amphibian will fill your heart with love for yourself and others, and remind you that it's brave and wonderful of you to exist. Cute. I love this because I think it's just going to be a really nice, cute comfort book. And I think it's also one that you can like give out to other people so that they can also get a little dopamine hit of a Sassy Frog. Book 2. I'm not gonna lie, I actually bought it ages ago now and it's been sitting in my office. So it is the top book in the humour category. So this is a book list book. And it's called The Last Black Unicorn by Tiffany Haddish. It says, from stand-up comedian, Emmy Award-winning actress and breakout star of Girls Trip, Tiffany Haddish, comes The Last Black Unicorn, a hysterical, edgy and unflinching collection of extremely personal essays as fearless as the author herself. Book 3 is a personal choice book, and it's actually one that I bought in January when I was in Orlando Airport. I'll read you the blurb because it sounds fascinating to me and it sounds really exciting. Loretta Thurwar and Hamara Hurricane Stacker are the stars of Chain Gang All-Stars, the cornerstone of Cape or criminal action penal entertainment, a highly popular, highly controversial, profit-raising program in America's increasingly dominant private prison industry. It's the return of the gladiators, and prisoners are competing for their ultimate prize, their freedom. In Cape, prisoners travel as links in chain gangs, competing in death matches for packed arenas with righteous protesters at the gates. Thurwar and Stacks, both teammates and lovers, are the fan favourites. And if all goes well, Thurwar will be free in just a few weeks, a fact she carries as heavily as her lethal hammer. As she prepares for her final match, she makes the ultimate act of defiance against these so-called games, a protest with devastating consequences that land like a lightning bolt of truth and offer a clear-eyed reckoning with what freedom in this country really means. I've seen a few movies based around this premise. I think Deathmatch is one of them, but this kind of feels like a cross between that and Hunger Games. This is my most anticipated read of May. Book 4, Willoughby This is the result of a build-up of life's scrapes, paper cuts and bruises that have left you feeling simply not okay. Emotional illiteracy, microaggressions, challenging familial relationships, toxic positivity and gaslighting are some examples of what I call tiny traumas. The impact, which often leads to problems such as high-functioning anxiety, languishing, perfectionism, comfort eating and sleep disturbance, to name but a few. We have been fooled into believing that tiny traumas don't matter. There always seem to be huge, intractable problems in the world, so we tend to overlook those small, everyday injuries that drill down to your core. This leaves us with an undercurrent of constant melancholy and niggling pinpricks of anxiety, all wrapped up in the film of other people's insta-perfect lives. But life doesn't have to be experienced in this suffocating way. We owe it to ourselves to develop awareness, acceptance, and take action on our tiny trauma, no matter how small, and to start living every day as we deserve. I've read a few books where, it talks about your past and your childhood and how you are raised or interacted with when you're younger and how that can impact you as a person going into your adult life. What is interesting to me is that this book doesn't just focus on childhood specifically, but also in your adult life, all those things that you take a little knock and they don't seem big, but over time they compound. I've definitely had it. I worked at a job years ago now, but it really knocked my confidence, and I feel like ever since that point I've been trying to fight my way back up to where I was, and then COVID sent me right back as well, and now working in a more remote way, it definitely does add up, and it all does compound. The author is called Dr. Meg Arrell. I'm really interested to see her take on it, but also the actions that she suggests to help overcome these tiny traumas and how to maybe cope with them better. And if, like me, you're very concerned with self-development books being very long, this one is 320 pages long, so pretty average. That brings us to the last book of the month, which is in the YA fiction category of the 2018 Goodreads Choice Awards, and that book is Sadie. To be perfectly honest, I never read the blurbs of books when it comes to my book list categories because I know I have to read them all anyways, so I'd rather just go in completely blind and not have any expectations. So I'll read the blurb and we'll find out together what this book is about. When popular radio personality West McCrae receives a desperate phone call from a stranger imploring him to find 19-year-old runaway Sadie Hunter, he's not convinced there's a story there. Girls go missing all the time, but when it's revealed that Sadie fled home after the brutal murder of her little sister Mattie, West travels to the small town of Cold Creek, Colorado, to uncover what happened. Cold Creek is a very good ASMR word. Sadie has no idea that her journey to avenge her sister will soon become the subject of a blockbuster podcast. Armed with a switchblade, Sadie follows meager clues, hoping they'll lead to the man who took Mattie's life, because she's determined to make him pay with his own. But as West traces her path to the darkest, most dangerous corners of big cities and small towns, a deeply unsettling mystery begins to unfold, one that's bigger than them both. Can he find Sadie before it's too late? Alternating between Sadie's unflinching voice as she hunts the killer and the podcast transcripts tracking the clues she's left behind, Sadie is a breathless thriller about the lengths we go to protect the ones we love and the high price we pay when we can't. It will haunt you long after you reach the final page. You see, that final line I could have done without. I don't want a book to haunt me. Thank you. This actually sounds really interesting. I'm very intrigued now. Tagline is, if she dies, she takes the truth with her. I'm very interested in this. I love books that include something a little bit different. The fact that this alternates between her voice and transcripts from a podcast is something a bit different. 308 pages. So there we have it. 5 books for the month of May. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out